Well, welcome to Journey of Healing of the Heart. Journey of Healing of the Heart is your boy, Journeyman Bell, aka Mr. 100, coming with you on day 9 as we are looking at the heart and we're looking at how to stay diligent in the heart. Um, on tonight, the one thing I want to really focus on is in Proverbs 4 and 23. Very, very familiar passage of scripture. And it's kind of dealing in the same areas of the treasures of the heart, but I really want to focus in on the diligent part and the keeping part, especially because the one thing I've discovered about our hearts is this is that, as I said before, is that our hearts are so open. Our hearts are so alert and aware of the things that's going on around it. And that's what causes us to absorb a lot of things that we don't intend to absorb. A lot of times we don't plan to harbor certain things in our heart. So those things in our heart, they get locked away in us. And those things that happened as we were kids, our hearts are young as kids and we absorb so many different things. And what happens is they get locked away inside of us like that treasure place. And so I want to really kind of help you be a better monitor of your heart places. I want you to become a better heart pacemaker for your heart. So in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, it says in Proverbs 4 and 23, it says this, it says um to keep thine heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Another version says real quickly in I Like God's Words translation. It says this. It says to guard your heart more than anything else, because the source of life flows from it. I really like that version. Guard your heart more than anything else, for out because of the source of your life flows from it. Now, real quickly, looking at that first part of guarding your heart, this protection place that we a lot of times let our guard down. How do we let our guards down? A lot of times, for one thing, we get comfortable in the things that we are surrounding in our hearts. In our areas of guard, when we first meet new people, our guard is way up then, and we're not comfortable at first. So once your heart gets comfortable, then it begins to confide. Once it begins to confide, then it begins to collect. I hope you're following me on today. So once your heart becomes comfortable, then it becomes confiding. Once it becomes confiding, then it becomes collective. Or let me say it this way. Once your heart becomes comfortable, then it becomes connected. There's a better way to say it. Once your heart becomes comfortable, then it becomes connected. Once it gets connected, then it becomes what's the word I'm looking for? Comfortable. Connect. Then it begins to collect. Thank you, Lord. Then it begins to collect. And so what we have to be careful of is our collection places. Well, we have to be careful of the collection place. So let's look at this really quickly. Guard your heart with all diligence. The comfortable places of our heart. The comfortable places of our heart becomes very, very important in this guarding, because what we tend to do in our guarding place is we don't feel comfortable with it until it meets and it conforms to our surroundings. So in other words, the heart is not going to become comfortable if the surroundings of the heart, if the things that you place it around does not make it feel comfortable. And a lot of times this is the element of what causes our hearts to get hurt. And this is what causes our hearts to become comfortable with individuals and churches and relationships and family and friends, because we're comfortable. So once your heart is made comfortable, then it can involve all of these other elements that deal up under the comforting place. Guard your heart more than anything else. When we let our heart down, when we let our guard down for our heart, what we're doing is we're saying, I'm okay and I'm at ease. And trust me, it's nothing wrong with being comfortable once you've been in the right arena. But if you don't use your discernment, you'll be in a place where you will put your heart in a place that it does not need to be in. How many times have you put and invested your heart into people, into ministry, into things that you saw on the outside were not going to amount to anything? Why do I have so much compassion for this individual? Why do I have so much concern for this individual? Why do I have so much these comforting places, these compassionate and comforting places? Because you were not you are not guarding your heart diligently. Diligently is important, because you got to remember that your heart is always in a good, caring place. So it is always important that you watch your surroundings. Watch where you are found your comfort in. If you do not feel comfortable with them, keep your guard up. If you do not feel in a place where you can confide in them, where you're having those types of elements, you have to understand how your heart works. And because if that heart stops working, you stop living. Hope you heard that. If your heart starts hurting, you're going to stop living. That's so significant in this transitioning place of your life, because these guarded places that we don't watch a lot of times are a lot of times what causes us to get in these places where we feel like, I can't get out of life. I can't get out of this rumdrum of life. I can't get out of this continual circle that continually goes in my life. It continually falls in the same place in my life, because you're not a good guardian over your heart. Remember, if your heart stays alive, you stay alive. Once your heart stops beating, you no longer have a life. So important to realize comfort has got to play a great part in your next place, which is the connect. The connecting places of the heart usually falls in the more time you give it to a situation, to an individual, to a circumstances. You find yourself becoming tied to it in your heart places. So when your heart places begins to connect with circumstances, situations, and people, things like that, then your heart will find its way always clinging to what it started out being connected to. It will always resurface back into those connecting places. You've got to understand how the power of connect can be, because if your heart connects to the right things, it will continue to flourish and grow and continue to have life. If it connects to the wrong things, it will start to feel like you're wearing yourself down. This is how you'll know it, because your heart will feel like it's working harder. Let me share this with you. When you digest a lot of fatty foods, when you connect to a lot of fatty foods for health, you know what happens is the heart has to work harder. When you eat a lot of foods that are not healthy for you, your heart has to work harder in order to keep pumping. If your heart works harder, that means you're going to wear it out sooner. If your heart works harder, that means it's going to work harder than what it should to keep you alive. It's because of what it's connected to. When you connect to bad things, your heart places are going to work harder. You're going to feel that pull more and more to try and stay connected. You'll feel those elements of compassion going back. And you won't, and even after you connect it, once that comfort place leaves after you connect it, it's hard to go back because you've already connected now. When you connect, you commit. Let me say it that way. When you connect, you commit to some things in your heart. And once that heart becomes committed to it, it's hard to kind of pull it back. So it takes some things that causes pain, it causes circumstances, it causes situation for you to kind of pull in what you started, pulling back. And you'll find yourself more and more pulling back because the pain stops you from living, like I said before. So you got to find out where those living places start again, where those places of life are again, so that you can once again start creating issues of flows of sources for your life. Last point, and least, and of course the not least point, is the collecting places. As I said, when you connect, you start to collect. Once you start collecting unwanted things, then it starts to build up and it starts to clog arteries. It starts to filter into places that causes blood flow to become hindered, to become limited. And you don't want to be limited when you're trying to get healed. You don't want limitations when you're trying to get healed. Getting healed and continuing to stay healed, to stay alive, to stay active deals with what we call deposits, collective deposits in our life. When you collect bad deposits, it clogs your heart. It stuns your growth. It stuns the mobility. It hinders your ability to operate freely. That's why it says to guard your heart with all diligence. You've got to stay in a consistent place with your heart and knowing that your heart is connected to so many other things for your life. They're connected to so many other things. They're connected to your ability to believe. It's connected to your ability to flow and operate and to live life at its fullest like God intended for you to live. But if it's connected to unwanted deposits, if it's connected to things that will tear you down, will bring you down, will hinder your walk, you got to reestablish your comfort place. Once you reestablish your comfort place, then you can connect to some things that bring more comfort to your place in your heart, to your place in your life, so that you can officially operate the way God intended for you to operate in. I'm telling you, what you confide in, what you find comfort in, what you connect to, and what you collect to, and what you collect leads to a place of clarity. You hear what I said? It leads to a place of clarity. I want to be clear when my heart is clear. When my heart is flowing good, I want to be in a good place. When my heart is flowing in a great place, I wanted to have that clarity of mindset, that clarity that falls on the inside of us that we look for so often. Where's your healing coming from? Your source of life comes from the places of what you're connected to, what you've confided in, what you find comfortable with. And this gives you the places of clarity. Clarity is always good because now you can operate. Now you can flow. Out of it flows the issues of life. We got a life to live, but we can't live it effectively. We can't believe effectively if the things we're believing are being hindered by what's clogging our heart. So let's get it cleared. How do we get it cleared? Find a new comfort place. Find some new connects. Find some new collects. Find more clarity. Comfort, collect. Comfort, connect, collect, and clarity. Those are your 4 C's that you need to follow by. Comfort, find comfort for your heart. Connect what you connect to. Collect what you gain. And clarity, what you will be able to see from here. Get your deliverance from your heart. We're going to come back tomorrow with the last session on the heart. And y'all take care and y'all be blessed on this evening.